Asha was a beautiful 12-year-old girl with long, almond-shaped eyes that seemed to hold the mysteries of the world. Her pointed nose and radiant complexion made her stand out wherever she went. She lived a joyous life with her parents in Lagos, where every day was filled with laughter and love. Her father often joked that Asha's smile could light up a room, while her mother loved to braid her silky hair every evening, whispering dreams of a bright future. Asha's biggest dream was to become a medical doctor. She excelled in school, always topping her class, and her parents supported her ambitions wholeheartedly. But one fateful evening shattered her idyllic world. A ghastly accident claimed the lives of her parents, leaving Asha orphaned and heartbroken. The news spread like wildfire, and distant relatives came to mourn. Among them was Asha's maternal aunt, Aunt Esther, who decided to take her to the village. "Don't worry," Esther told the mourners. "She'll be safe with me." But behind her sympathetic words lay a heart darkened by jealousy and greed. The village was a stark contrast to Lagos. It was a collection of haunted, crumbling houses with rusted zinc roofs that groaned under the weight of time. Asha's new home was no exception, a tiny two-room shack with cracked walls and a yard overrun by weeds. Madame Esther greeted her with a forced smile, her eyes darting toward Bella, her 13-year-old daughter. Bella, though a year older than Asha, lacked her grace and beauty, and this fueled an unspoken rivalry. "Asha, meet your new sister," Esther said, her tone sharp. Bella crossed her arms, her eyes narrowing as she sized up her cousin. "Bella will show you how things are done here. Today, you'll learn to sweep, fetch water, and handle other household chores." The next morning, Asha began her new routine, sweeping the compound, fetching water from the muddy well, and helping with the cooking. While Bella lounged on the sofa in the dimly lit sitting room, watching television, Esther barked orders at Asha. "Don't just stand there like a statue. Move faster," she snapped. At school, Asha's brilliance quickly earned her the admiration of teachers and classmates. Her tattered uniform did little to hide her natural beauty, and her kind heart won over even the toughest students. But this only deepened Bella's jealousy. One day, after a teacher complimented Asha's intelligence and beauty, Bella hissed under her breath, "Don't let it get to your head, orphan." When they returned home, Bella whispered cruelly, "You're just lucky people pity you because your parents are dead." Asha bit her lip to stop the tears from falling. Madame Esther's favoritism toward Bella was evident. She bought Bella new dresses, shiny black shoes, and colorful school bags, while Asha made do with hand-me-downs. When neighbors commented on Asha's worn-out uniform, Esther scoffed, "I buy her new things, but she ruins them. She's too careless." At night, the disparity was even starker. Bella slept on a plush bed with a thick wrapper, while Asha lay on a thin mat on the cold floor, clutching a torn blanket. One particularly cold winter night, Asha's memories overwhelmed her. She remembered her mother's warm embrace and soothing lullabies. Tears streamed down her face as she hugged herself tightly, longing for the comfort she had lost. At age 13, Asha, and at age 14, Bella, graduated from junior secondary school and advanced to their senior year. During this time, Bella became determined to make life difficult for Asha. She refused to let her have friends, constantly spreading bad rumors about her to their classmates and cruelly calling her an orphan. When Asha turned 16 and graduated from secondary school, her aunt bought Bella, her daughter, a new phone as a graduation gift but gave Asha nothing. Asha didn't receive any present at all. Despite this, her dream of becoming a medical doctor felt within reach, though she knew her aunt would never support her education. She remained determined to pursue her dream of becoming a doctor. She worked tirelessly, taking on odd jobs to save money. She hid her earnings in a wooden piggy bank, which she placed carefully in a corner of her shared room. But one day, Bella stumbled upon the piggy bank while searching for a missing hairpin. She pried it open, her eyes widening at the sight of the money. Without a second thought, she took it all. Bella took the money Asher had saved all her life. Asher still didn't know that Bella had taken the money from her piggy bank, but she was happy and felt an overwhelming sense of joy when she received her payment from work the next day, knowing she had saved enough to cover some of her school bills, even if it wasn't the full amount, but it would certainly help. And that thought filled her with hope. She rushed home with excitement bubbling inside her, eager to open her piggy bank and count her savings. As she sat down to retrieve the money, her heart sank when she discovered the piggy bank was empty. Her hands trembled as she stared in disbelief, her mind racing with confusion. Shock, sadness, and anger flooded her all at once. "Who did this?" she shouted, her voice filled with panic. Unable to contain her emotions, she quickly ran to her aunt, desperate to know if she had borrowed the money at least. Bella's mother shouted at Asher, accusing her of calling her a thief for taking the money without permission. "That makes me a thief," she yelled. Asher quickly tried to explain. "That wasn't what I meant," she said softly, her voice tinged with sadness. But before she could say more, Bella walked in and saw them arguing. Asher turned to her and asked, "Did you take my money?" Bella hesitated, then reluctantly admitted, "Yes," before turning to leave. Asher, filled with frustration, grabbed her arm and pulled her back, demanding, "Why? I needed that money to further my education. I needed it more than you," Bella said, tossing her hair over her shoulder. Esther sided with her daughter. "So, I'm the useless mother for giving birth to someone who won't let you further your education. Is that what you think?" Esther snapped, her voice laced with anger. "Do you think we are hopeless like you? I'll give you your money, but you're so stingy. A family borrows your money, and this is how you act. Thank God I never wasted my money on you, you ungrateful child." Accusing Asher of being ungrateful, she continued, "You're lucky I even took you in. You should be thanking me, not causing trouble," she spat, her words heavy with disdain. Asher looked deeply saddened as she rushed outside, tears streaming down her face. She cried her heart out, thinking about how hard she had worked and how much harder she would have to work all over again. One day, while working in the fields, Asher caught the attention of Ebuka, a young businessman visiting the village. He was impressed by her diligence and struck up a conversation. Asher, wary of strangers, kept her distance at first but eventually opened up about her struggles. Ebuka was moved by her story and promised to help her. A few months later, Ebuka returned to the village, but this time it wasn't for business, it was for Asher. He admired her hard-working nature and wanted to help by sponsoring her education if she was willing. When they first met, Asher had never spoken badly about her aunt. Instead, she told him about losing her parents at a young age and how her aunt was the only family she had, even though she couldn't afford to pay for her education. Deep down, Asher knew this wasn't entirely true, but she didn't want to tarnish her family's name, as her aunt was the only family she had left. The rest of her relatives had abandoned her after her parents' death, despite the promises they made on the day of the funeral. When Ebuka returned to the village, he asked around for Asher's home, describing her to the locals. Almost everyone in the village knew Asher, not only for her beauty, but also for her remarkable nature that set her apart from other girls in the village. When Ebuka arrived at their house, he found Asher's aunt outside, cooking over a firewood stove near their small, clay-walled home with a thatched roof. At first, her face lit up with joy, assuming her daughter had brought home a handsome suitor. "Are you here to see my Bella?" she asked eagerly. Ebuka shook his head. "No, I don't know Bella. I'm here to see Asher." "You must be her aunt," he said politely. The aunt's demeanor changed instantly. She stood up and snapped, Has she lied to you to get money, or what has she done now? That girl is nothing but trouble. I regret ever taking her in. Ebuka was stunned by her harsh words, but maintained his composure. No, he replied calmly. I'm here to discuss her education. I'd like to assist her and sponsor her schooling. She has big dreams, and I want to help her achieve them. The aunt scoffed. Edu what? What does that even mean? She sneered dismissively. Jealousy flared in Asher's aunt as she glared at Ebuka. You ritualist! Get out of here, she shouted. You came all the way from Lagos to prey on an innocent village girl, just to renew your dirty money. Ebuka tried to explain, his voice calm despite her accusations. He spoke about his business in the village, emphasizing that he wasn't a total stranger and had genuine intentions. However, Bella's mother refused to listen. Her suspicion and bitterness overshadowed reason, and she stubbornly sent him away, ignoring his every word. When Asher returned home from work, her aunt immediately stood up and shouted at her. You lazy girl! So now you're looking for a rich man to run away with. Confused and startled, Asher replied, Please, auntie, I don't understand what I've done. Can you tell me? Her aunt's voice grew louder as she accused, You're a thief, an ingrate, and a prostitute. Pretending you don't know how you're trying to sell yourself to a man for money. Asher's heart raced as she asked, I truly don't understand, Ma. What is going on? Her aunt sneered, A young, tall, handsome man came here today looking for you. Asher's eyes widened in shock. A young man? I don't know anyone like that, auntie. Still unconvinced, her aunt hissed, So you're pretending again. Fine, no problem. Asher walked away quietly, her mind racing as she tried to figure out who this mysterious man could be. A few days later, Ebuka returned to the house, and this time Asher was home. When she saw him, she immediately recognized him, but couldn't understand why he had come to see her. Her aunt, once again outside cooking over a firewood stove, noticed the man and immediately snapped, You back again, ritualist. Ebuka calmly replied, Madam, please, I am not a ritualist. I am here for good, to help your niece. Asher's heart sank as she stood silently, feeling both sad and humiliated by her aunt's harsh words. Her unhappiness was evident as she lowered her gaze, unsure of how to respond. When he noticed this in Asher, he said, I believe Asher should have a say in this matter. After all, it concerns her, and she is nearly an adult. Esther erupted in anger. You're not taking her anywhere. She's my responsibility, and I won't let her ruin our family's name. If you really want to sponsor someone, I have someone older than her. Take her with you, the auntie said. Ebuka replied, It's Asher I saw, and she is the one I want to help. The auntie walked in, dragging Asher with her. You ingrate. You want him to take you, but when your parents died, I took you in and helped you. You can't sacrifice that for me. Let him sponsor Bella's education, as a reward for me taking you in. Asher stood there, her head down, saying nothing. Inside, her heart was breaking with sadness. Deep down, Asher knew this was her chance to escape. One moonlit night, she packed her belongings and met Ebuka at the edge of the village. Taking the risk of following you to Lagos to pursue my dreams is better than staying at home with my auntie. I believe you won't hurt me, she said to the young man. Together, they traveled to Lagos, where Asher began a new chapter of her life. Ebuka lived in a modest apartment in Surulere, Lagos. The one-bedroom flat was clean and neatly arranged, with a small sitting area furnished with a sofa, a center table, and a shelf filled with books. He offered Asher the bedroom, while he moved to the living room. This will be your home for now, he said, smiling warmly. Tears welled up in Asha's eyes. "Thank you," she whispered, overwhelmed by the kindness she hadn't experienced in years. With Ibuka's support, Asha enrolled in a prestigious university, excelling in her studies. Years passed, and she graduated with top honors as a medical doctor. Ibuka, who had become her closest confidant, proposed to her, and their love blossomed into a beautiful marriage. The couple returned to the village, now prosperous and radiant. Asha wore a flowing Ankara gown with intricate beadwork, while Ibuka donned a crisp agbada. They visited Esther's home, which had fallen into disrepair. Bella, once the center of her mother's world, had become a shadow of her former self, leading a life of regret and poor choices. Esther, humbled and ashamed, fell to her knees, begging for forgiveness. Asha, ever kind-hearted, lifted her aunt and said, "I forgive you, Auntie. Life has taught me to rise above hate." Asha and Ibuka built a hospital in the village, offering free medical care to those in need. Asha's story inspired many, proving that resilience and kindness could overcome even the harshest trials. And though her journey was fraught with pain, she emerged stronger, turning her sorrow into a beacon of hope for others. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thanks for watching.